Morning guys, Harry here from Tech Media Fusion. Today is Thursday the 8th of March, last night here in the UK, and obviously yesterday morning for people in the States. Apple announced the release of the iPad, the new iPad. Now, a lot of people thought it was going to be called the iPad 3, but the whole way through the live blogs, and I watched it on Twit TV last night. The whole way through it, a lot of people were expecting Apple to come out with a name for it, you know, like the iPad 3 or iPad HD or iPad 2 GS or whatever, but they didn't. It was just referred to as the new iPad. Now, this video isn't about the device and the specs of the device or anything like that, because there's going to be loads of videos out there about that. And you can also go across to Apple's website. They've got a fantastic website over there showing you all the different features of the new iPad. But what I want to talk about is when all the different specs were being announced last night for the iPad, a lot of questions were being asked in terms of, you know, are we moving into a post-PC era now? Are we ready for a post-PC era? And that type of question. And that's what I want to talk about this morning on this video. So let me explain a little bit about what this post-PC era would mean and how it could be implemented, or how we think maybe Apple is pushing us into that type of situation, and other companies as well. So let me use Apple as an example first of all. If we were to move into a post-PC era, what they're talking about is dropping things like the Mac Pro, the iMac, you know, the 15, the 17 and the 13-inch MacBook Pro range as well, and keeping just the iPhone, the iPad, maybe the 11 and 13-inch MacBook Air, possibly a 27-inch and a 24-inch cinema display. Obviously, you'd still have your iPad ranges and the Apple TV, because primarily at the minute, if you want to use a big display with your iPad, the Apple TV and AirPlay is the only way you can do it, to the best of my knowledge. I don't think you can hook up an iPad to a 27-inch cinema display like you can with the MacBook Air. However, having said that, I don't think it's too long before Apple are going to implement that and allow people to hook up, especially with the resolutions now that are coming out on the iPad. It would look really, you know, really nice on that type of display on a 27-inch cinema display as well. So with that in mind, could we move away from using our desktops and our big, you know, not chunky laptops, but, you know, workhorse laptops? Maybe 2 years ago, one of the main things that were holding people back from that argument was the lack of software, the lack of applications available for professionals that were using the Adobe Creative Suites and Final Cut Pro, all these types of things. It just wasn't possible maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But only the other day, Adobe released Photoshop Touch for the iPad. I downloaded that, and it's a great application to use. I'll be doing a review of that as well coming up soon. Apple as well, last night, they kind of like done an upgrade on their iLife suite for the iPad, and iPhoto is just amazing. The different features, the implementation of the different features that Apple have incorporated into that application are just outstanding. I think it's a great application. And it's only a matter of time before Adobe start introducing other software like InDesign and maybe After Effects onto the iPad. Now, I'm not saying that the Adobe Photoshop Touch has got all the same features that Photoshop on the iMac or the PC has. I'm not saying that at all, but is it enough for professionals or other people to get by on, especially given that if you were to hook up like a wireless keyboard, a Bluetooth keyboard to your iPad, and then that was hooked up to a 27-inch iMac, could you use that type of application then? You know, would Photoshop and InDesign, if these were all brought in, and Final Cut Pro maybe on the iPad as well, if these types of things were all brought in, would it enable you to move away from having a desktop? Now, a lot of people are also saying as well that In terms of internal storage, that's not really needed anymore, because a lot of us are holding our information in the cloud now. So many companies are popping up now where they're offering huge amounts of space, 250 gigabytes, and you're only paying like £6 a month or something like that for quite a lot of space. People say it's safer as well, having your information saved on a cloud. But for me personally, I like the idea of having, backing stuff up onto a cloud server somewhere. It's always good to do that, but I like also having hard copy of my data in my property as well, whether that be on an internal hard drive or an external hard drive, but something that I can touch and feel and is a bit more substantial than it's out there somewhere. But that's just me personally. So there's a lot of different questions that need to be asked in terms of moving into this post-PC era. If you look at the tech industry in general over the last 2 years, the whole thing has been primarily focused and aimed on cell phones and tablet devices. Operating systems and all the rest of it are now being streamlined for these devices as well. The Windows 8 that's coming out soon as well, it's already out now for product preview releases and stuff like that. It's all aimed at touch environments and tablet devices. And yes, I know with Windows 8 you're going to be able to use that on, say, like a 27-inch touch screen display, but not many people are going to use it like that, because that argument's already been done and dusted. You would end up having cramp in your arm holding it up all the time. And so therefore, with Apple having the MacBook Air that can already hook up to a 27-inch or cinema display, the iPad, the iPhone, are these devices substantial enough for us to go out and do, well, not me, but especially you guys out there that perhaps use a Mac Pro now for your professional day-to-day working environment where you're using it constantly? Do you think that, given the specs of the iPad last night, how powerful it is and how powerful it's probably going to get in the next year or so, and how powerful, and because Apple have just moved the bar a little bit further, and all these other companies now that are in the tablet business, they're going to be doing the same thing now as well. Asus and Samsung and all these other companies are going to be starting to implement similar features and similar power into tablet devices, and it's going to keep moving forward like that as a stepping stone effect. And given that in mind, taking into consideration the applications that are already out and that are coming out, don't forget Microsoft as well are supposed to be given the iPad and tablet, other Android devices, Microsoft Office as well. So, lots of things are changing. For me personally, I think it's a little bit too soon, and I still love the idea of having a server in my house with all my data on it, and it's there so that I can gain access to it anytime I want. I don't have to worry about a server going down with the company that I've paid for and me not being able to gain access to it until their engineers sort it all out. It's like I've already said, it's good to have that as a backup, but for me personally, I don't know if I could live my life like that. I don't think it would be too beneficial for me. I do also understand that you can still back up the external hard drives. But anyway, guys, this video is a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. But what do you guys think? I would love to hear your comments and your thoughts and opinions on this post-PC era that so many people have been talking about, especially since the iPad release last night. Don't forget, guys, you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook and Google+. All the details for that are in the sidebar. Just click on the links, it'll take you right over there. If you click on the title at the top there, you can go in the channel design. Click on the Tech Media Fusion link. That'll take you across to the website, and there's a whole host of other different places that I'm posting to, and you can follow me on Dig and Delicious, all those types of things. Thank you very much, guys, for all your support, as usual. I couldn't do this without you guys, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks. Bye.